New in your fitness journey?
Not sure what to expect in your first few training sessions?
Today, we're going to break it down for you.
Hi, we are now at Booth 1 Kiara. I'm May.
And I'm Peng.
So today we're going to talk about what to expect if you are first starting off with your fitness journey. Okay, so for the first question, how do you set goals with your clients in the first month?
So there are three things that I would look at. First would be what the client's explicit goals are. And this is important because that's their desire to reach out to us. Second thing would be where they are right now. So stuff like baseline assessments and etc. will come in handy. So for example, if you have a weight-related goal, I would say having an idea of your current weight, what you're currently eating, what you're currently doing movement-wise, that will give a coach an idea of where you are presently. And last is your commitments, your social gatherings or social events, your family, your work, what priorities that you have assigned for each one of them. That will give you a certain sense of timeline to which you will attain your goals. And from there, we'll look at assigning smaller goals if it's possible. Assigning smaller goals to sort of build up the momentum to get you to the goals that you've set for yourself.
For me, I think I will be quite similar to yours. It's just that I will be a little bit more conservative in the sense of making sure that when people set their goals, they try not to be too ambitious right from the first month. Because to me, first month is still a lot of getting to know if the goal is ambitious or not. Because a lot of the time people start their fitness journey in a very optimistic way. So as much as the intention is right, but within the first month, there is a lot of gauging, the goals that I set, is it too unattainable? And if it is, then how do we kind of like pivot and regress to make sure that we get a successful outcome right from the start so that there is more motivation going forward?
Okay. Second question. What should a new client expect in their first few training sessions?
Different from what most people expect is, first few sessions, you'll be training hard, sweating a lot, getting really sore. I think it's not quite the truth because going back to goals and what we mentioned before, making sure that the goal set is attainable, there is a lot of discussion needed, especially for clients who has, for example, weight loss goal, which we know lifestyle plays a huge role in attaining that goal compared to the time that they spend in the gym. So that means the first few sessions, instead of working really hard in the gym, there should be a bit more time allocated for discussion of what is the nutrition habit like, or eating habit like, what's their lifestyle, like sleeping habit, how active they are. Because a lot of conversation needs to be done to understand in real life, this is what's happening. Because a lot of people want to paint a very nice picture of, okay, I'm going to make all these changes to get the goal done. But it is very far off from what they are doing right now. So instead of fixing that down the road, the first few sessions should actually nail down with all these details to make sure that the picture is being painted as realistically as possible so that the habit change is not too drastic. And then moving forward, it's just, okay, let's adjust it bit by bit. So I think that's the main thing that I would like people to know is to not expect training sessions to be hard. Yeah, that's it.
If I were to add any, I would add on, if you look at three separate categories, I would say physically, will you feel that the training is tiring or sore? Yeah, maybe if you are very sedentary people. And on the other aspect, right, you've already framed it earlier on the discussions around their lifestyle and whatnot. So I would say in that category, you will learn a lot more information, things that you previously don't know about. Or maybe there are some information, say, about nutrition that you already know something about, but you get a bit more refined knowledge. And last, of course, on a physiological aspect, you could say that perhaps you could feel a little bit better. You feel like there's a bit more energy going on in you. Carrying groceries or picking up your kids would definitely feel a little bit easier over time. Would you say that?
Yeah, correct. Okay, so what is the typical workout intensity for a beginner?
Okay, good question. For a beginner, on default, we want to err on the more conservative side. So if I have to put a number on it, it's somewhere between 3 to 5 repetitions left in your tank. In other words, when you do a set of exercise, after each set itself, you should feel like you can do somewhere between 3 to 5 more. I would shift the focus away from the intensity, but I would focus a lot more on lifting techniques, range of motions, or if there are any possible contraindications or movement errors that I've spotted along the way. So the priority will definitely be heavier on the, like I mentioned, techniques, ROM, and contraindications, rather than the workout intensity itself. So in other words, you wouldn't be looking at, this is a tiring workout or this is a really tough workout. It's more on, I should be positioning my arm this way, I should be lifting it through this motion.
But I guess going along that line, then there is a different sort of fatigue that comes in, which is more towards a mental fatigue than a physical fatigue. Of course, it depends on how capable they are when it comes to movement comprehension.
Yeah.
Some people may not be very proficient with movement, and then they find learning proper technique is challenging. So when it comes to like fine-tuning the precision of movement technique can be very taxing to the mind and the brain. And that's where the fatigue sets in. It's just not really like the intensity of the workout is so difficult, but learning how to focus on different body parts, focus on the coordination and getting things right. That, to some people, can be very taxing. So I think we can actually separate the intensity into 2 separate categories. One is physical, and then the other one is the mental section.
I agree with that. 4th question. How do you integrate lifestyle or habit changes in the first month itself?
I think this one comes back to my answer for the first question, which is how do we make sure that when we want intervention for lifestyle habits to be done in a very practical manner?
Yeah.
So not aiming so high to the ideal approach, but understanding where they are currently that needs improvement. So a concrete example would be, for example, if we are looking at sleep, someone that is sleeping only like 5 hours per night.
Yeah.
And then, of course, research says that you need to sleep somewhere between 7 to 9 hours. And ideally, it would be even better if you can sleep 9 hours. But is that realistic? Is that practical? From 5 hours jump to 9 hours? Quite likely not.
Yeah.
So that is where when we talk about integration, is to know where they are right now, and then what is actually achievable for them with consistency. So we have to really look into like on a day-to-day basis or week-to-week basis. Is it possible to increase, let's say, even for just an hour? We really need to go down into, let's just have a look at, what's your nighttime activity like? What is your morning activity like? Are there any incidents that may disrupt the consistency of this practice? So those are the things to be expected for the first month, because it's really trying to come up with a strategy that fits your current lifestyle and allows you to do that consistently without too much of, I planned this, but guess what? Something happened and then I can't stick to it. And then next few days, same thing occur. Is to make sure that we eliminate all those risk factors so that the chance of success is a lot higher.
Okay. So I guess what I'm hearing a lot from you would be picking a lifestyle change that's within reasonable means to achieve it. As you clearly mentioned earlier, jumping from 5 to 9 hours clearly is not reasonable, simply because it's a out of reach goal. it's not within a reasonable means, it's virtually impossible for you to get there. But if you choose a goal that's within the first month, setting a goal of increasing your sleep hours from 5 to 6 or even 7 hours is already a great achievement. And from there, it can be progressively increased down the line, not within the first month itself. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
The goals for the first month, really, it's so simple and easy that it should not lead to failure. That's our main aim as we try to coach someone to achieve a habit lifestyle.
And anything beyond is just can be progressed from there on.
Yep. Okay. Question number 5. How do you support new clients to adhere to their habit change outside of training sessions?
A very good question here, because this involves a coach and a client's relationship as a whole. Like with any relationship, the key focus the key criteria that we need to have with our clients would be communication and trust. In other words, I need to be trusting. I need to trust my clients to be able to do what they say they were going to do. For example, something simple as I will have 1 meal per day at home. It's just something simple as that. And I need to be able to trust my client that they can execute them. And when they do not, they need to have that openness to, okay, coach, I did not have my 1 meal per day at home today.
Or instead of lying to you, is it?
Exactly. So why this is really crucial, because it will reflect on the result at the end. So if, let's say, we are reviewing on a weekly or a monthly basis, and if you were adhering to the changes, the habit changes or the lifestyle changes that we set forth, you should get to the goals that we've set. But if it does not, we'll reflect, and perhaps the lifestyle change was too much. Perhaps we can pick something that's a bit more reasonable. And ultimately, outside of the training session, what we will look at is always celebrating the small wins, especially along the lines of lifestyle changes. Every time they succeed in doing whatever they were planning to do, make sure that I, as a coach, would want to celebrate those small wins to ensure that these lifestyle changes stick as a key feature right here.
I think adding on to that, it's not just about celebration as well. So personally, I experienced a lot of time whereby clients feel really guilty not being able to do what they intended to do. And the guilt is so strong that words that you use that comes off from their mouth becomes very negative, which then defies the purpose of making this whole fitness journey fun and enjoyable. And I think we don't say it well enough or often enough that it's okay to fail. I mean, definitely we don't want to celebrate failures and allow that to continuously happen. But at the same time, we also don't want people to feel so bad when they can't stick to the plan and then they try to make up for it. It's a lot better to just accept that, okay, I didn't achieve my goal. I didn't keep to the promise that I had with my coach, but that's it. Move on. How can I do better the next session, the next week? Instead of guilt-tripping themselves to say that, oh, I've done so badly. My diet sets. And then it goes down the route of where they start to give up. They start to see that I can't do this. Actually, this is not for me. Maybe it's not meant to be. It should never be that well. So as a coach, I think the language wise has to be like very compassionate and empathetic to understand, okay, you didn't manage to get whatever habit change that you intended to. But okay, let's just accept that this is the one time. How can we do better the next time so that you don't make the same mistake again?
Okay, so I guess what I'm hearing is we want to champion all the small things that will allow them to adhere to either the changes that they've set for themselves or to the goals that they've set for themselves. So communication being the first key. Second key is being compassionate enough to recognize that adherence will eventually get them to the goals that they want to achieve. Here at Move, what we really strive for is that we care for each and every one of our clients.
but I would like to add on to how we care. It's probably a little bit different because what we care for is the practicality of things. We want to make sure that in this first month of journey, we are not painting a very nice picture that you are going to succeed. We want to go down to how realistic things are and how do we together can get to where you want to be ultimately by making sure that we address all the obstacles that you might face. Things probably aren't going to be as excited as what you would think it would be, but that's our language of care because we care about how sustainable things are. How do you actually feel in this journey that includes both ups and downs? So if that is what you are looking for, get connected with one of our coaches today by sliding a DM or visit our website. For now, bye.
Bye.